Hi Virgo, how are you doing today? You all good? You all well? I'm here with your general daily tarot reading of the day. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. I've already pre-shuffled and pulled the cards. Okay, so this could be from the past, it could be currently, or it could be yet to happen. Okay, some of you could be involved with somebody that's being deceitful, being dishonest. Okay, somebody isn't judging the situation properly. Okay, you might need to look at things a bit more clearly, you know, see the reality of the situation, Virgo. Okay, somebody could be promising you union, you know, or maybe you're not being honest with yourself. You know, you could be being deceptive towards yourself. You don't want to see the reality of the situation. Somebody could they could be going backwards and forwards, promising you union. They could be, like I said, deceptive, sneaky behavior. Okay, and some Virgos are getting really tired and restless and sick of it now, exhausted. Okay, you could have children with this person. Okay, you know, they are kind of, they don't appreciate your worth, Virgo. Okay, and you very much want judgment in this situation. You want them to be open and honest and situated and speak up. Okay, you could have an idea of what's going on, Virgo. Okay, especially if there's children involved, you know. You could have had heartbreak in the past with this person. Okay, and then they've come back and then they're doing it again. You know, they're repeating cycles, Virgo. Okay, they could be coming towards you and then sneaking back to a third party, a karmic. Yeah. So like I said, deceptive, sneaky behavior. Okay, I don't know, they could have, like I said, they could have done it before. Cheating, lying, you know, sneaky behavior. They could be, or maybe you gave them chance after chance after chance and then you misjudged it. You know, you shouldn't have given them you know, the time of day. You should have just left it in the past, you know. Or you know, judgment day could be coming. Everything's going to come out in the open. Okay, you are going to see the reality of the situation. Okay, you could end up choosing yourself and having a new start, coming away from this person. Yeah, far away, somewhere distant. Okay, because they keep doing sneaky behavior. They keep going backwards and forwards, okay, you know, lying, stealing, okay, using people for money. You know, they're just not, they're not trustworthy. Okay, and yeah, like I said, backwards and forwards to a third party, to a karmic, making false promises, you know, just, and you're tired and restless and, you know, your heart can't take any more, Virgo. Okay, also, I will say, well, you know, Virgos, they're quick thinking. Okay, they like to be organized. Okay, they don't, they have an eye for detail. Okay, and they like to plan ahead. Okay, also, because I've got a sister that's a Virgo, so I know about Virgos. You know, you're a maiden, you are a goddess, Virgo. Okay, Yes. Also, I forgot to mention, Virgos, they can be, personality-wise, sorry. I'll rephrase. Okay, so personality-wise for Virgo, you know, they're quite quiet and self-contained. Okay, they're, you know, efficient. They have things under control. Okay, sometimes they can be a workaholic, you know, Virgos. They like things to be done a certain way. They like their own space. They like to be independent. They don't like to fail at things, you know. They don't like to fail things. Because, you know, they don't like to let themselves down. Okay. Also, with Virgos, like I said, they like neatness, they like order, they like things, they like to be organised, they like everything to be in place, they like everything to be, you know, did I say efficient? I said that, didn't I? Yeah, efficient. They are very efficient, actually, yeah, because I've got a sister that's a Virgo, so I know quite a bit about Virgos. You know, they're graced with integrity, they're practical, they're creative, they're very reliable, you know, they're very attention to detail, they've got common sense. Also, some Virgos, they can be quiet and reserved. Okay. They can get obsessed with details. Like I said, attention to detail, Virgos, they get obsessed. They don't like things to be half finished. You know, they're a bit of a perfectionist. They won't stop until it's, you know, 100%, till they're satisfied. They are quite confident, actually, Virgos, earth signs, because, you know, my sister's a Virgo, and one of my sisters, she's a Virgo, okay, and she's very confident, you know, she is very confident. She's, you know, she puts pride in her everything, really. She also, if they forget things, they make lists. Virgos, you know, they write things down so they don't forget. Yeah, I do that as well. Yes. Oh yeah. Virgos don't like noise. Okay, they just like peace and quiet. Okay. Also, they're very social animals, social creatures, should I say. Okay, they like to go out, they like to have fun, they like to be out with their friends, you know, go to concerts, they like music, things like that, Virgos, earth signs as well. So they're very outdoorsy. Okay. Also, they like to relax and chill and just, you know, on their day off, you know, because they're quite hard working, Virgos. Okay. Also, Virgos, they like to go to places like, you could be, if you're a Virgo, you could be somebody from a culture, and they like to go to they like to go to exotic places, that's it, you know, exotic places like, you know, Mediterranean, in, you know, Greece, Turkey, Germany, you know, they like to go to cultural places, exotic places, hot places. Also, earth signs like being pampered. Okay, they're big on appearance. Okay, and yeah, like I said, but when it comes to emotions and relationships and things like that, Virgos, I mean, you're the bull, aren't you? So, oh, hang on a minute, wake up. Because I do so many zodiac signs, I get confused. I'm so sorry, Virgo. I got confused with Taurus. Okay, I meant to say you're the maiden. Okay, you know, you're the maiden. Okay, so you symbolize productive nature. You know, you're the sign of a productive nature. Okay, you are very efficient. I think I said that. Okay, and also with Virgos, whoops, wait a sec, I think I said this, did I say this? Versatile, Virgos, they're versatile as well. Also with Virgos, yeah, they aim for the best, you know, they are, Virgos, they're quite worrisome, you know, they tend to get anxious about things. Okay, they can be their own worst enemy, that, you know, a critical attitude, you know, a little bit dramatic, but also, yes, Virgos, Virgos like to know where they are, so that they feel more comfortable in an uncluttered environment. Like I said, they like peace and quiet, practically and emotionally, you know, and in comparison with other zodiac signs, they have a high value on a committed relationship, you know. The sign's pure virgin goddess has self-control. Okay, Virgos are patient, they're kind, caring and supportive as a friend and as a romantic partner. Okay, Virgos love to be needed and are never happier than when being able to provide a service. Okay, they will always be quietly appreciative of those who notice their needs. Okay, so that, you know, personality wise, you know, but like I said, so they know their worth, you know, Virgos. Like I said, Judgment Day is coming. They're going to see the reality of the situation. They're getting tired, they're getting exhausted of the whole thing, they're having a rest. Okay, that they will heal, they'll get over it, they'll recover, they'll have a new start. You also could have somebody new coming into your life, because you've got the sun here as well. Because obviously the person you're with at the moment, they could be deceptive, like I said, going backwards and forwards to a third person, messing around, they're not being honest, you know, they're not to be trusted, you don't trust them. You finally come to the realization of that. Also, you could have a new person coming in, Virgo. You know, it could be another earth sign, you know, or it could be that, you know, you could be giving this person another chance, even though they're deceptive and they keep going backwards and forwards and being deceptive and sneaky, and, you know, they're not loyal, you know, they're not honest, they're not loyal, they're not trustworthy. Okay, So yeah, I mean, yeah, or you could be having a new start with yourself. You choose yourself, okay? Invest time in yourself, self-work, self-love, have a new start. If you've got kids in this situation, you know, they'll have a new start as well. Happy, smiley, joyous, okay? And yeah, Virgos, they like peaceful resolutions as well, like I said. They, some Virgos could have been cheated on in the past, okay? I don't know if it's by the same person or if it's from different people. But yeah, they have had that in the past. Sneaky behaviour, deceptive, going backwards and forwards. You know, they kind of want to have their cake and eat it sort of thing, those people. And Virgos, they just aren't having it anymore. Okay. And yeah. Okay, you know you deserve better. You know your worth. Okay. You will recover from it. And then you'll have this new start. Okay, like I said, and you could be coming into union with yourself as well. Yeah. So Judgment Day is coming. Okay. You know, you'll be reborn. You'll recover. You'll heal. You'll learn from it. Okay. And maybe the next person that you know, come into, how do you say? You know, when you cross paths with someone new, Virgo, they will be more honest and loyal and trustworthy and treat you nice, Virgo, okay? Because like I said, this person looks, they're not to be trusted, Virgo, okay? They're very deceptive, okay? Lying, cheating, stealing, sneaky behaviour, look, backwards and forwards. But don't worry, Judgment Day is coming. Okay, there's going to be resolution, you know, there's going to be a new start here. You've got the sun, okay? You're going to have a new start, you know, out of the old, in with the new, fresh, you know, abundance, prosperity. If you've got kids as well, Virgo, you know, they can look forward to a new start as well, because I'm sure you don't want them to enjoy that kind of, you know, toxic energy, okay, Virgo. I will be doing, obviously I hope this resonated, I hope it helped, I hope it gave you some insight and guidance, Virgo. Sorry about my stuttering, it's just that I want to make a good impression for you guys on my channel, and I really want to get these videos done for you guys, and I get nervous because, like I said, I want to make a good impression, and sometimes I stutter so bad I sound like I'm having a stroke, honestly, gosh. But yeah, I will be doing some money readings, finances. I'll be doing some twin flames, some love readings for Virgos, and collective energies as well, so watch out for those, Virgo. Oh, okay, Virgo. I have to take a Strepsil or something. Alright then, so watch out for those videos, Virgo, and I will see you again soon, Virgo, with some more daily tarot readings. Alright, Virgo, take care, bye.